Armchair Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know, we've all got that one friend, haven't we? That one who finds all the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach. Well, now you can be that friend because Smart Travel is like him or her, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like how to get real value from points, not just a tiny little reward at the end of checkout, or which flight deals are actually deals and not just clickbait, or when that convenient travel bundle might actually be a hidden tax in disguise, all that stuff. So travel smarter and spend less with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, welcome to Armchair Explorer. My name's Aaron Miller. I'm a travel writer and your host. And today we're back with one of our immersion episodes recorded on location in stereo surround sound. And all I've got to say about this one is this. As soon as they walked into the barracks of Fort Sisseton, they were handed muskets, heavy Springfield 63s from the Civil War era. They were given a uniform and they were told to march. Presenter Brian Thacker and producer Jason Paton thought they were just covering the annual Sisseton Historical Festival in the crowd as spectators. Turns out they were getting enlisted in the army, the Union Army, that is. Join us today as we march back in time to 1864, where cavalry, artillery, and infantry reenactors come together each year to bring this piece of history to life with period-accurate food and music, military demonstrations, dances, and much more, including a few ghosts in a haunted old hospital where they had to spend the night. This is a fun one. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, you can check out the full series on the Travel South Dakota Stories podcast. The link is in the show notes or just search it up.
Don't get us in trouble. No fingers on the trigger.
Right, we've just been given our guns.
You didn't know what you signed up for, did you?
As soon as we walked into the barracks, we were handed muskets, heavy Springfield 63s from the Civil War era. That's because I've just enlisted in the Army. The Union Army, that is. We're at Fort Sisseton in South Dakota, marching back in time to 1864. Roaming herds of buffalo, the Wild West, mountains, monuments, dinosaurs and pioneers. Welcome to South Dakota, the land of infinite variety. I'm Brian Thacker, I'm a travel writer, and this is episode 7, Marching Back in Time.
When this place was built, they were only like 16, 17, 18-year-old young men from Wisconsin. So they marched all the way here, carrying their gun, their knapsack, wearing the full uniform that you guys will be putting on.
This is Tonsfeldt, the park manager at Fort Sisseton.
We think walking 2 miles is a pain today. Imagine walking all the way from Wisconsin. They talk about the mud, they ran into rain, and then when they got here, we actually had somebody freeze to death within like 2 to 3 weeks of being here. But yeah, it was crazy. Those young men, and I can't imagine the uniform. And you guys will enjoy that because it's going to be nice and warm and toasty. So you're going to wear your wool uniform and our cotton and everything like that and see how you do with it. So, all right, we'll let you guys get dressed. So.
We're at the annual Sisseton Historical Festival, where cavalry, artillery and infantry reenactors come together and bring the camp to life for a weekend, with period-accurate food and music, military demonstrations, dances and much more. Thousands of people will crowd into the camp, roughly doubling the population of rural South Dakota for a few days. And we're embedding with the infantry, the Civil War equivalent of war correspondents, you might say. And that means we'll have to look the part. But joining an infantry regiment also means we'll be learning 18th century marching drills and performing those drills in front of thousands of people. No pressure. And worse, Jason's finding getting dressed a bit tricky.
You know, I'm a dude that wears relatively tight pants normally, so this feels extra odd. I am swimming. Do you know how to do suspenders at all?
I think they just go like this.
What did you hook to there? Does the two go on the front or the back?
Two go on the back.
But there's two here.
All right. We swapped sizes and retooled belts until finally we're fully kitted out and ready for service. We head into the barracks where hundreds of skinny bunks are neatly lined with weapons and uniforms.
2 men slept on top and 2 slept on bottom, and you slept mouth to foot. So you easily had 100+ men in that one building. And I mean, you're talking it's 100 foot by only 60 feet, which is not that much room to move around for 100 men. And then showers were not like today. So if they were lucky, they took a good bath once a month during the summertime, and during the wintertime, it was about once every 2 months. Imagine the smell. It'd be like a junior high locker room almost.
Fort Sisseton was built in 1864 by volunteer soldiers from Wisconsin and Minnesota. When it was finished in 1866, the Civil War had been over for more than a year. So while this wasn't a battlefield site, it was occupied by the military for decades and was a hub for explorers and settlers heading west. As well as the 2 barracks, there were also homes for the officers and doctors, and they had it a lot better than us enlisted men.
So this residence actually pretty cool because it's a doctor's, but it's the only one with a cellar at that time. So whenever a body would die during the wintertime, we couldn't bury him. The poor doctor would have to have him in his cellar next to his canned goods and stuff like that. Then they would eventually in springtime, hopefully remember to bury the body up in our cemetery and stuff like that, so.
Besides the dead bodies in the basement part, the 3-story house was very swank indeed. That's Megan Ward, the museum director intern here, playing a very old pump organ.
They would actually ship grand pianos and oysters from the East Coast and lobster and fancy foods from the East Coast. And they would roll up the rugs and they would dance and stuff like that. I mean, we have records of them having dances galore around here. So.
Our accommodation for the night had no fancy pianos or rugs or even a bed. We were assigned a tent in the military encampment. Most of the tents were very authentic, as in authentically tiny and basic. Ours didn't even have a front or back.
So you got people who are actually sleeping, dressing. There's Dutch ovens cooking for food, water for washing dishes and stuff like that. Our laundresses are ready to wash clothes, just like they used to do back in the day. Scrub them with soap and water.
Bring them over.
Bring your clothes over? All right. Charlie.
Yes.
We run
Reporting for duty, sir.
How are you, Charlie? I'm Brian.
Charlie Russell, welcome.
Good to meet you.
Charlie has been coming to the festival for 20 years.
Yeah, this is our second home. My kids were raised here.
Oh, wow.
Came as toddlers. And we've got people that you see every year that you've seen actually grow up here coming. So it's more than a destination. It's family. It is. And
it really is.
The city folks, the only time they get to ride in a wagon drawn by horses. And it's free. You can't find that anywhere else.
Most of the people that come to the Fort Sisseton Historical Festival are here to watch the show. Not us. We're in it. Our infantry commander is Sergeant Bill Hoskins from the 13th Sioux Falls, South Dakota, part of the Muddy River Battalion.
Company, support, arm. Attention to roll call. Sergeant Whitley.
Here.
Corporal Mickelson.
Here.
Corporal Woolman.
Here, sir.
Private Russell Charles.
Here.
Private Russell Jacob.
Here.
Private Renley.
Here.
Private Meagard.
Here, Sergeant.
Private Frazee.
Here.
Did I get that right?
No. Francis.
Franzese, okay. Private Wold.
Here.
Private Patton.
Here.
Bring it to shoulder arm. Private Thacker.
Yes, here, Sergeant. Oh, sorry.
Thacker.
Turn it.
Okay. Company, inspection, arms.
We attach bayonets, or long knives, to the ends of our rifles. I suddenly feel twice as dangerous to the regiment around me.
Ordinarily, this musket would not pass inspection.
In the Army, it's just called hurry up and wait.
Even in the reenactment.
Company, attention.
Forward. March.
5 file right. Mark. Right shoulder shift. Arm.
After an hour of drill training, we're more confused than ever.
How'd you do? Do you remember everything?
I think I'm going to be delisted.
You got
Dishonorable discharge.
Try and look for somebody.
After grabbing a bite to eat at the Chuck Wagon dinner, we take a sunset walk around camp, now aglow with the flickering light of candles and fire pits. Groups of soldiers and their families sit together in costume, telling stories and sipping whiskey from tin cups. We join a large and particularly loud regiment around a blazing fire.
So this group of friends have been here since 1987.
1987.
We were in college at that time, and our ROTC department had built a cavalry centennial group of 4 horsemen to perform in parades for the South Dakota Centennial in 1989. And so this is the core group of the kids that were in part of that when we were young and much skinnier. And so we were talking on the way up. I have been here 34 years.
This is Bruce Beckering, the captain of the cavalry regiment.
What brings us back is our friends and our chance to sit around a fire and reminisce about stories from 1988 in college to yesterday when our kids graduated from high school.
It's a second family.
In 1989, we had 40 cavalrymen here, 40 horses.
Yeah.
So many horses we had to drill as 2 companies on the drill field at separate times.
Yeah.
So we have a saying in this realm that everybody starts out as an infantryman because the initial investment's about $1,500, and then you become a cavalryman.
Because your feet hurt.
Yes.
And it's cool. It's really cool. It's the
Then you
coolest
become
thing.
a 40-year-old that can't hardly get on his horse to become a cavalryman. So we invested $20,000 in a cannon 2 years ago that's sitting out in that field.
Which is a bit of a point of contention with the women.
With the women.
That was
had
not
a little bit of an
discussed
issue.
But, it's just part of bringing this place alive. That's the pride that brings us back here as well, is the chance to build this encampment.
Well, and I like to say, when we load everything up, close the doors on the truck and hit the road, if nobody went to the emergency room,
It was a good weekend.
it was a good weekend.
It was getting late. We had an early start with our regiment for the flag raising ceremony, and it was time to check in to our accommodation for the night. Woolen clothes aside, it was a bit chilly for us, so we passed on sharing the open-air tent. Instead, Ali organised for us to stay in the original Fort Hospital. Just us, alone in the old ward in a huge, empty building with no electricity. Nothing to be scared of, right?
So probably one of our most prominent ghosts is actually in the hospital. So we had an intern during 2020 who he came up here, but because of COVID, he couldn't find a place to stay. So we said, okay, you can stay in the hospital. We made him a nice room and everything like that. The next day I came in, I'm like, how'd you sleep? He goes, I slept pretty good. I said, did anything crazy happen? Totally drunk. He goes, well, yeah. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, I heard footsteps. They were marching up the stairs. And he goes, and then they came to the door and then they stopped. And then I heard him go back down the stairs. I said, what'd you do? He goes, I went back to sleep. I said, okay. So then about 2 weeks later, I'm like, how's it going in the hospital? Kind of concerned, there's no electricity in this thing. And this kid is sleeping in there by himself. And we know we have ghosts. And he goes, well, the ghosts are getting braver. I go, oh? And he goes, yeah, they come in and they lay on my bed. Sometimes they sit on my bed. And I go, and what do you do? He goes, I just roll over. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, most of us would run out screaming or running. He goes, yeah, I just rolled over and went back to sleep. And I'm like, but yeah, he said that every night he would have a visitor. And we think it's one of the orderlies that passed away up here and stuff. So, but then we also had volunteers sleep there one night. And this one volunteer was sleeping actually in one of the hospital beds you guys will be staying in. He was sleeping and all of a sudden he woke up and You know how you have that feeling that someone's watching you and you just but you're kind of sleeping, and he kind of just opens his eyes, and there was a soldier standing over top of him, like staring at him in his face. He's never slept in that hospital again, but yeah.
So we get a hotel in town?
No, it's probably all booked.
You're
no,
like, oh, I'm not sure
you will
about
be
this.
fine. They're nice ghosts.
But it wasn't just the ghost we had to worry about. So I'm lying on the hospital bed from a mattress from 1867, which is a mattress filled with straw. Yeah, we're going to try to sleep here. We'll try our best. Jason, you still awake? Jason? Oh no. All right. Good night, and hopefully I'll see you in the morning.
Good night and good luck.
Jason says he didn't sleep a wink and heard the only real disturbance in the house that night. I actually did need to go to the bathroom at one point, but I held it in because I didn't want to walk through the dark house past creepy mannequins or the ghosts playing the piano in the parlour.
Is that you, Jason?
After a fitful night tossing and turning on the mattress from hell, the sun eventually rose and visions of trickster ghosts faded into dreams of hot coffee and fresh clothes.
Back straight, soldier.
Yes. We're just walking over to meet our troop and our sergeant.
Left, right, left.
Reporting for duty, sir!
It's 7 a.m, time for final polish on our drill performance. We're now under the command of Captain Kevin Gantz, who's been a reenactor for more than 30 years.
All right, we're in a column of fours. All right. On the march, you get a by the left flank march. There's always the preparatory, what we're gonna do, and then the execution. Do it. So it'll be by the left flank, march. If we are in that battle line, and you get a by the right flank, it's just like you've gotten a right face, except we're on the march. If we're in a stationary wheel, we're gonna just go all the way around.
Yeah, that's how complicated it is. It's amazing that Jason and I weren't just walking around in circles, crashing into everyone else.
Let's just see how it rolls. Forward, march. By company, into line, march. Right up on line. Holy crap, it happened. Literally for the amount of rust, this is the first time we've really been out. It looked good. It looked good.
After drill practice, we catch up with Captain Gantz.
It's just a smattering of the tactics. That's just a small amount. There are volumes of manuals, and it's everything to how to move 4 guys, to moving 12 guys, to moving 100 men, to moving 500 men, to moving 1,000 men, to moving 10,000 men, to moving 100,000 men.
But it's not just about repetition and discipline, it's also about camaraderie.
And they refer to that as your comrade in battle. You're fighting for the man on your right, you're fighting for the man on your left. And that is true because when you're on a drill field, that's one thing. When people are trying to kill you and they're shooting at you, that's another thing. And battles are hectic, they're loud, they're disorganized. The guy next to you too is somebody you know, someone you grew up with, which keeps you in the line a little bit too. You know, a lot of these battles, 30, 40 yards. You see that guy over there firing at you. It's terrifying. You don't want to stand there. The hope is that you drilled a soldier enough that it was just automatic. They didn't have to think about it. But it also was a good leader. It was your officers making sure that their men were well drilled. Drill is one of the most tiring, monotonous things a soldier can do, next to just standing a guard post where you know that you're probably not going to get attacked. You know, but that's a part of being a soldier. That's part of your duty.
Color guard! Attention! Advance colors!
Attention, company. Shoulder, arm. company, present arms.
Black powder smoke fills the air as cavalry trots in unison across the parade ground.
Forward, march. Attention company, unfixed bayonet. We'll do that. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the infantry demonstration. We are the 13th U.S. Infantry Company D. What we want to do is we want to go through some of our manual of arms of the infantry, talk to you a little bit about what it was like to be an infantry soldier, especially those who would have first stationed fort here in 1864. I'm going to call on my sergeant to come out and talk to you a little bit about what we're doing as I command the guys to do it. Attention company, shoulder, arms.
You notice the company's in 2 ranks. That is to maximize firepower. People in the front rank would load and fire as they stand. People in the rear rank will load in the space between the 2 ranks and fire over the right shoulder of the individual in front of them.
In each rank, count 2s.
1, 2,
1,
2,
1, 2, 1. Forward, march. My file right, march.
All right, Will.
We somehow managed not to make any mistakes and even looked like we knew what we were doing.
Forward, march.
During the war, repetition was one of the ways they trained soldiers. When they initially were mustered into service in training camp, they might spend 8 hours a day doing different facings and learning so they would perform on instinct more than actually having to think about it. The squad's going to be demonstrating loading and firing.
Get ready for the bang.
Elevated fire, aim. Fire. Recover, arms. Thank you very much, everyone.
Captain, great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you so much for having us on along.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you bet.
It was seriously so much fun. Just,
we hope we didn't drag you down.
No, you guys were quick learners. All right. You were quick learners. You guys first had it down, yeah.
Excellent. Permission to fall out and return in our weapons, sir. We hope we've served honorably.
You have indeed. I can muster you out of the service.
My wife is longing for me back at home.
Of course.
We have a long journey ahead of us.
Let me tell you
I'm
about
tired of looking
men
at him.
who long for their wives. I long for their wives too. No.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, gentlemen.
We proudly return our rifles to the barracks. We're heading to the military ball and figure we don't need guns, or at least hopefully we don't.
You getting dizzy yet, Jason?
Oh yeah, just a bit. Oh, over here.
Oh, you missed one.
And then we go back down.
You're a pro.
You think it too.
And then.
Go, Jason.
There we go.
We didn't embarrass ourselves, and I didn't stand on anyone's toes. The sheer joy on everyone's faces as they danced around the room was a delight to watch and be part of. The whole weekend really made me appreciate the hardships that pioneers and soldiers of the era would have faced, like straw mattresses and woolen clothes, but also the beauty of marching back in time.
Reporting for duty, sir.
Campfires of friends retelling stories, the satisfaction of somewhat mastering dances and field drills, and the camaraderie of a company working in unison. I can see why so many people from all walks of life are drawn to these festivals. Because in South Dakota, the pioneering spirit is still very much alive. And as we found here in Fort Sisseton, you can be part of it. Thanks for joining me, and if you'd like to create your own South Dakota stories, you can find out how by going to travelsouthdakota.com. You'll find lots of inspiration and ideas and everything else you need to know to plan your great South Dakota adventure. Thanks to everyone who featured in this episode. Ali Tonsfeldt from Fort Sisseton, Captain Bruce Beckering and Amy from the Cavalry Troop, Sergeant Bill Hoskins, Captain Kevin Gantz, and the rest of the 13th Sioux Falls Regiment. If you enjoyed this episode, stay tuned for our next episode, where bad is simply amazing. So hit that subscribe button and follow us wherever you get your shows. This series was produced by Armchair Productions, the audio experts for the travel industry. Find out more at armchair-productions.com. I'm Brian Thacker. I wrote and presented the show. Jason Paton recorded in the field, mixed and did the sound design, and Aaron Miller is the executive producer. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jason. That was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, you can check out the full series on the Travel South Dakota Stories podcast. The link's in the show notes, or just search it up. There's some really good, fun episodes there. So until next time, keep your musket held high, keep marching straight, and remember, the more we look for wonder in the world, the more the wonder of the world becomes a part of who we are. Dare to be truly alive.
I'm Max Hortzorn, host of the Go Nomad Travel Podcast. Every week, I bring you a short 5 to 8 minute escape to somewhere unexpected. I cover the kinds of travel stories you don't hear anywhere else, quirky destinations, unusual adventures, and people who make the world endlessly interesting. If you love discovering new places but don't have time for a long show, these bite-sized episodes are perfect for your commute, your walk, or your coffee break. Join me on the Go Nomad Travel Podcast and explore the world in just a couple of minutes.
If you want to travel more, ideally in luxury, but without the luxury price tag, this show is for you. I'm DeAndre Koch, and on Revolutionizing Your Journey, I use my unique vantage point as a financial advisor to break down exactly how my wife and I leverage credit card points and miles to fly business class, stay at 5-star resorts, and take bucket list trips for a fraction of the cost. Each week, I share real strategies packed with actionable tips and interview some of the smartest travelers in the game to help you revolutionize the way you travel. Travel well, live boldly, and find Revolutionizing Your Journey wherever you get your podcasts.